Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 1 of April 2025. Billionaires Gautam Adani and Kumar Mangalam Birla's groups are entering the wires and cables business, intensifying competition in a sector with high double-digit growth. Both firms aim to leverage their existing presence in the copper industry to dominate the market, impacting smaller players significantly. Vodafone Idea announced that the government's stake in the company will rise to 48.99% following the acquisition of shares worth Rs 36,950 crore. This move aligns with the September 2021 telecom sector reforms and involves converting outstanding spectrum auction dues into equity. The government stake will increase from 22.6% with promoters maintaining operational control. Tata Autocomp Systems Limited will acquire an 80% stake in Artifex Interior Systems Limited, part of the Jaguar Land Rover Group. This move expands Tata Autocomp's global footprint and expertise in automotive interior systems. The acquisition enhances the company's technological leadership and strengthens its presence in the premium automotive segment with key OEMs in Europe. Mother Dairy plans to invest Rs 600 crore to build 2 new processing plants in Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. The Gujarat plant will cost Rs 400 crore and be completed in 2 years, while the Andhra Pradesh plant will cost Rs 150 to 200 crore. Additionally, a new Nagpur plant for milk processing is set to begin operations by 2026. The National Financial Reporting Authority or NFRA released the minutes of its 20th meeting, which took place virtually on February 24, 2025. The meeting included discussions on various key issues, particularly focusing on the proposed amendment to Ind AS 21, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates, to address the issue of lack of exchangeability. This proposal, aligned with international standards, was agreed with a minor editorial enhancement, and NFRA recommended it to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs for approval. NFRA also urged the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to expedite the notification of the amendment, as it is set to take effect on April 1, 2025. India's automobile industry is set to close the financial year 2024 with over 5% growth, almost half of the 10% rate it clocked during financial year 24, a slide which can partly be attributed to a sharp dip in March sales due to dampened consumer confidence. While the automobile sales are expected to cross 26 million mark in financial year 25, the electric vehicle sales too may breach the 2 million mark for the first time in a financial year, up 20% from 1.6 million in 2023-24. Renault has agreed to buy Nissan's 51% stake in their Indian joint venture, Renault Nissan Automotive India Private Limited, making Renault the sole owner. The companies will continue to collaborate on ongoing projects and future vehicle production, with Nissan retaining a strong market presence in India and focusing on exports. To expand the ease of living of its 7.5 crore members, Employees Provident Fund Organization or EPFO has decided to enhance the auto settlement of advanced claims or ASAC limit by 5 times from currently Rs 1 lakh. This enhancement, along with the introduction of UPI for PF withdrawals, will streamline the process and significantly reduce settlement time. The e-commerce sector in India is poised for the highest salary increases in 2025, exceeding 10% due to digital expansion and consumer spending. Overall, salary hikes are projected at 9.4%, slightly down from 9.6% in 2024. Businesses face a skilled professional shortage, prompting upskilling efforts. Companies are also enhancing employee well-being programs to retain talent. Global investment firm KKR is in talks to acquire Lexia Dental Laboratory Group from Comvest Investment Partners at a valuation of $200 to $250 million. Lexia, founded in 2013, offers various dental solutions and operates facilities in the US and India. Deloitte is advising on the sale process. Ankura Hospitals has secured Rs 165 crore in funding from the Asian Development Bank. This strategic investment will enhance its pediatric, maternity, and gynecology services, enabling the Hyderabad-based chain to expand its facilities and strengthen its presence in key cities across India. The Government of India has officially notified the Finance Act 2025 following its passage in both Houses of Parliament and the Presidential Assent on March 29, 2025. The new law, published in the Official Gazette, brings significant reforms in direct and indirect taxation, aiming to simplify compliance, enhance revenue collection, and provide relief to various sectors of the economy. Popular snack and sweets company Haldiram's has secured two new investors, Alpha Wave Global and International Holding Company or IHC, as part of its ongoing equity financing round. This investment further strengthens the company's financial position as it pushes forward with its expansion plans, particularly in the US and the Middle East. The investment reflects Alpha Wave Global's and IHC's commitment to backing dominant companies with strong consumer brands. Indian banking liquidity turned surplus for the first time in over 3 months in March. This occurred due to aggressive fund injections by the central bank. The Reserve Bank of India injected over $70 billion into the banking system. This easing of cash crunch led to lower overnight borrowing costs and a 3-year low in 10-year sovereign bond yields. SEBI extended the timeline for retail investor algo trading norms to May 1st, with implementation from August 1st. Exchanges sought more time for discussions. The framework ensures regulated access through brokers, safeguards investors, and mandates broker accountability. Aditya Birla Group has sold Century Pulp and Paper to ITC Limited for Rs 3,498 crore. The sale, carried out through a slump sale route, enables Aditya Birla Real Estate to focus on its real estate endeavors. ITC, a major player in the paper industry, was the preferred buyer due to its significant market presence. The Central Board of Direct Taxes entered into a record 174 advance pricing agreements or APAs with Indian taxpayers in financial year 24-25. These includes unilateral APAs, bilateral APAs, and multilateral APAs. With this, the total number of APAs since the inception of the program has reached 815, comprising 615 unilateral APAs, 199 bilateral APAs, and 1 multilateral APA. The Securities and Exchange Board of India's plan to hive off clearing corporations from stock exchanges remains clouded with uncertainties related to profitability, working capital requirements, and contributions to the Settlement Guarantee Fund. Unless these areas are addressed, it will be challenging to transfer ownership of clearing corporations away from stock exchanges. Indians are doing online FMCG shopping over 3 times more frequently than they did a year ago. The staggering rise in online shopping occasions or trips equates to 61% in October to December 24 from just 19% in the year ago period. This has been triggered by the quick commerce boom and has prompted fast-moving consumer good companies to recast their sales channels. The rise in online shopping trips in India is in stark contrast to that in China, which also has a thriving quick commerce market. There, online shopping trips remain largely stable, hovering around 12 to 14%. UBS has successfully merged Credit Suisse service company entities with UBS Business Solutions in India, integrating a 24,000 strong team. This consolidation, covering operations in Mumbai and Pune, enhances UBS's global presence and paves the way for future collaboration, growth, and technological advancements. To enhance the security of e-way bill, e-invoice system, NIC is introducing two-factor authentication for logging into the e-way e-invoicing system. In addition to username and password, OTP will also be authenticated for login. With the bank audit season approaching, the Auditing and Assurance Standards Board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has announced the launch of an online panel of experts to assist members with bank branch audit related queries for the financial year 2024-25. After weeks of anticipation, President Donald Trump unveiled a new set of tariffs on both allies and adversaries, aiming to address what he describes as unfair trade practices. The tariffs, which are set to impact countries that impose high duties on US exports, will see India facing a 26% tariff on its goods entering the US, along with significant penalties for other nations. Meanwhile, bilateral trade between India and the US totaled $124 billion in 2024. India's exports to the US reached $81 billion, while imports from the US stood at $44 billion, giving India a trade surplus of $37 billion. Reliance Industries announced a Rs 65,000 crore investment to set up 500 compressed biogas plants in Andhra Pradesh. The initiative will utilize 500,000 acres of barren land in Prakasam, Anantapur, Chittoor and Kadapa. Once operational, the plants are expected to generate 4 million tons of green CBG and 1.1 million metric tons of organic fertilizer annually. SEBI's decision to simplify follow-on issue frameworks for REITs and InvITs aims to enhance liquidity, boost investor confidence, and align with global standards. The move simplifies fundraising processes, enforces sponsor lock-in provisions, and ensures market efficiency. This step significantly benefits India's real estate and infrastructure sectors by facilitating easier access to capital and maintaining long-term stakeholder commitment. US President Trump's tariffs on India have given it an edge over other textile exporting countries facing higher tariffs. However, Indian exporters are concerned that these nations might introduce incentives to maintain their market share. While India could benefit, textile producers are cautious about rising prices in the US and potential limited production capacity. The recent US tariff measures on passenger vehicle exports from India will have minimal impact due to low export volumes, according to ICRA. However, increased tariffs on auto components, including aluminium and steel parts, could negatively affect revenues and earnings for Indian exporters in the US in the coming months. SEBI has notified SEBI Infrastructure Investment Trusts Amendment Regulations 2025, a new Regulation 10 with respect to illustrative roles and responsibilities of trustees has been inserted. It states that the trustee must conduct regular physical inspections of InvIT assets and supervise the maintenance of such assets with safety and operational standards. Further, the trustees must provide periodic confirmations to SEBI that they have not engaged in transactions involving units of InvIT they manage. In a major clarification, the central government has stated that it has no plans to impose a fresh 5% goods and services tax without input tax credit on food delivery platforms such as Zomato and Swiggy. Pankaj Chaudhary, Minister of State for Finance, made this announcement in the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday, April 1, 2025, putting an end to speculation about increased taxation on food delivery services. Competition Commission of India Chief Ravneet Kaur has been given additional charge as chairperson of the National Financial Reporting Authority. The move came after Ajay Bhushan Prasad Pandey's term as the head of the audit regulator got over on March 31st. Pandey, a former finance secretary, was appointed as the NFRA chairman in 2022 for a period of 3 years. IndusInd Bank's 2024 review by KPMG and EY highlighted discrepancies in treasury and derivatives accounting. Following a sharp 27% stock drop due to uncovered issues, PwC and Grant Thornton Bharat were engaged for further investigation. Leadership uncertainty and potential undisclosed concerns may affect the bank's future. Financial services firm Tata Capital has filed preliminary papers for Rs 15,000 crore plus IPO under the confidential pre-filing route with markets regulator SEBI. The mega IPO will comprise both issuance of new shares as well as offloading of stake by Tata Sons, which owns 93% equity stake in Tata Capital. Tata Capital showed significant financial growth with a revenue jump of 34% in financial year 24. Delivery to acquire Ecom Express in a cut price deal for Rs 1,407 crore. PE firms Warburg Pincus, Partners Group and British International Investment will fully exit their investments in Ecom Express through the deal. The biggest consolidation move in the new age logistics sector, the transaction, which will require clearance from the Competition Commission of India, is expected to close in the next 6 months. Post-completion, Ecom Express will become a subsidiary of Delivery. SEBI has relaxed the advance fee restrictions for investment advisors and research analysts, allowing them to charge fees in advance for up to 1 year, subject to client agreement. Fee-related provisions apply only to individual and HUF clients, excluding accredited investors. For non-individual and institutional clients, fees will be governed by contractual terms. In a significant move to streamline the income tax return rectification process, the Income Tax Department has enabled taxpayers to file rectification applications before an assessing officer for up to assessment year 2023-24 through the e-filing portal. This feature, introduced in January 2025, offers relief to individuals whose ITRs were not processed correctly by the Centralized Processing Center due to minor errors. Under the income tax law, the Centralized Processing Center or CPC is mandated to process submitted income tax returns within 9 months from the end of the financial year in which they were filed. However, in some cases, errors apparent from the records may lead to discrepancies in tax computation. The rectification option allows taxpayers to correct these mistakes without resorting to prolonged litigation. Quarterly transactions in the office market reached a historic high of 28.2 million square feet in the January to March period, shows a Knight Frank report. Global Capabilities Centers or GCCs were the largest consumers of office space during the period, accounting for 44% of the total transaction volume. A resurgence in demand from the third-party IT services sector contributed to this growth with a 19% share of the office space market. Third-party IT services accounted for 5.5 million square feet, representing 19% of the total space. India's relative cost and quality advantages compared to other Asian economies, combined with an increasingly AI-driven environment, are likely to attract more occupiers in 2025. Tapering of work from home and the normalization of returning to the office have also fueled this demand for additional space by the IT sector.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.